Welcome to my daily scream into the void about anti-Semitism. Because anybody who knows anything about anti-Semitism, as opposed to just indulging in it, knows that pretty much every platform will stop anything from getting out. Bitch talk is really good for that. Either way, Canada. Most of the time you just embarrass me. You shame me. You've now disgusted me. Now I want you to stop and carefully think. All these different countries that claim that they are recognizing Palestine. Has Palestine done anything? Does Palestine have its own coin? No. Does Palestine have its own language? No. Is Palestinian a DNA? No. So, you are creating a fictional people because you don't want Jews to have their own country. And if you're talking about since 1947, the two-state solution already happened. That's why the king of Jordan said Palestine and Jordan are one. Because the people who are in the Gaza Strip, which are calling Palestine now, they had the choice. They could either become Israeli, and there are over 2 million Arab Muslims in Israel. So Israeli Arab Muslims. However, they could also go to Jordan. Those people are political pawns, and you are just leading them in the same boat because they don't want a state. They want Israel gone. Of course, there's also the fact that the terrorists today are the descendants of the Arabs that made deals with the Nazis. Which is one of the reasons why not only is it offensive when you start calling Israelis or Jews Nazis now, it is incredibly hypocritical and blatantly ignorant of history. Nazis affiliate with Arabs to boycott Palestinian goods because British Mandate Palestine was considered, especially in Jerusalem, primarily Jewish. This was the flag of Palestine, British Mandate Palestine, in 1939. That looks really Jewish to me. And in fact, I've mentioned it before, but you do realize they speak Arabic in Gaza, right? Do you know where Arabic comes from, Prime Minister Carney? Because it doesn't come from Israel. It doesn't come from Judea and Samaria. It comes from the Arab Peninsula, where Islamic colonization has really gone to town. The book it came from. Two-state solution. Any person who brings up a two-state solution is either ignorant of history, deliberately or not, or just blatantly anti-Semitic, because, as I just pointed out, it already happened. And I know the Palestinian Authority used to be considered a terrorist group by most people and is now really only considered a terrorist group by Israel because, once again, it's only terrorism when it's not aimed at Jews. When it's aimed at Jews, it's fine according to the world. Accelerated settlement building in the West Bank. The minute you call it the West Bank, you're being anti-Semitic. Because you see, Jordan captured that area and didn't manage to keep it when they went to war with Israel in the 60s. So Israel got their land back. Now, how is it that Israel is illegally settling on what was originally designated as their land, approved of as their land by the UN? Oh, right, the UN, right, the industry organization that is now run by over 70% of people from authoritarian countries. You want to have a guess at what religion the bulk of those authoritarian countries are having? 3 guesses. 2 don't count. The current Israeli government is working methodically to prevent. Every single time peace has been offered to the Palestinians, Israel has accepted. Israel has given up land for peace that it never gets. Blocking any aid when it has been thoroughly established that Hamas is stealing that aid and then selling it to the citizens of Gaza so they can fund their terrorism. Because apparently the billions they get from idiots like Mr. Carney to build tunnels and buy rockets just isn't enough. Over and over and over again, Israel has a legal right to be where they are. They have an ancestral right. As it points out, one of the biggest things that points out an indigenous population are graveyards. Such as in Canada, where they're really not talking about it much anymore, but there are graveyards, unmarked graveyards, all over Canada, from when Canada tried to commit genocide on the First Nations. In fact, Islam built on top of Judaism. They built on top of, or wait a minute, we used our magic time machine, right? We have a weather manipulation, we have a space laser, and we have an unknown time machine. So we could go back and put ruins thousands of years underneath the modern Islamic structure, which they keep digging into, knowing that they're digging down into the temple. But they won't let Israel in. Much like Egypt, it's against the best interests of Islamic colonization to admit that the people you were colonizing were already there. Just take a look at that. And I'd like you to stop and think about, in Canada, what were we taught, and the United States, about what the First Nations Native Americans were like. Oh, they're barbarians, they're savages. In fact, all the same shit that you say about Jews in Israel now. Germany claimed that Jews were a foreign race come to take over. Now you want to claim that Judaism is a foreign religion from Europe come to take over. It's amazing when there are 50 countries run by Islam that this one itty-bitty tiny Jewish state, smaller than Manhattan Island, is a big threat to those 50 countries. Please pause and read. Every single deal you see here, Israel accepted. One of those basically gave the Palestinians everything they wanted. They still said no. Why is that? Oh, wait a minute. I told you at the beginning. They don't want their own state. They want Israel gone. Whether you go by war, by history, or by holy books, Israel belongs there. Jerusalem, for thousands of years, every year at Pesach, Passover, that one thing that you stole from Jews so you could have your own little, your Jew got killed. And for thousands of years, you claimed that we Jews killed your Messiah for Judeo-Christianity, completely ignoring the fact that if you blame the Jews for your Christ's death, then he didn't sacrifice himself, and all of you are going to hell because you weren't absolved by his death. Just bear that in mind. And just like in the 1930s, there is a 100-year cycle if you really look at history, which all of you love to do when you talk to Jews or Zionists. Look at history. Well, we know our history, which is why when you say it to us, all we can do is go, are you fucking kidding me? You're spewing bullshit? And then tell us that we don't know history. Basically, every 100 years, the world goes on a let's kill the Jews binge. And here we are again. And you know what? As a Canadian Jew, I don't feel really safe in Canada anymore. And what's worse is because Canada is going to recognize the terrorists, even though they don't want it, to reward the terrorists, Israel will likely close their borders to any Jews that are being persecuted in those countries. So when the Islamic colonization really gets rocking and rolling here in Canada, because it's already rocking and rolling in the States and in the UK, we got no place to go. You tell us to go home. Where is home when you won't allow us home? And bottom line is, this sums up Prime Minister Carney, Macron. Pick the anti-Semite of your choice, the terrorist sympathizer of your choice. Oh, I have Jewish friends. I know Jewish people. Yeah, right. 1 in 4 will be Muslim. 1 in 20,000 will be Jews. The bulk of you don't know Jews.